Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, fellow insomniacs. Good afternoon to you. Today I'm going to take you along as I exercise my dogs and just take a bit of a break outside. I always take you guys along when I'm on my drives or at night, during the day, whatever. Again, if you hear some panting in the background, it is my dogs. They are, well, my dog, my healer puppy, Puck. I took him out already. Let's go, pooches. And we exercised already, but I'm going to do it again because, again, healers can never have enough exercise, mentally or physically. They need to be drained, just like children, which, of course, not everybody agrees. But I do. I feel like children and animals and people in general need all of the above. They need all of the above. I shouldn't say all the above. There's only two things. We need mental and physical exhaustion as far as to keep our brains, okay, guys, off, to keep our brains healthy and occupied. I don't want to say mental and physical exhaustion, but we need mental and physical exercise. That's what I mean to say. All right. So, what has been keeping me up these days as of lately? Trying to keep my head above water, trying to figure out how to navigate all of this. Oh gosh, my Chihuahua Henry is going to start barking because we are headed down to lower property to do a little exercise. He gets a little crazy. All right, before I finish that sentence, I got to do a roll count here. Roll call. That's what I meant. Bonnie, present. Mosby, present. Nora, present. We have got Puck, present. Henry, present. Uh-oh, we're missing a Charlie, the old man. We need to go and get the old man, Charlie Warley. Goodness. It's like that meme that you always see, that little boy that's got his pants down and he's going after the toilet paper that's rolling along in the wind and he's trying to get it and it just keeps rolling away while he's trying to wipe his butt. Or those little ducks that the mom just can't keep all of her ducklings in a row. Come on, Charlie, let's go, old man. He's deaf and he's going blind. Man. All right, Charlie, let's go. Okay. Got my ducklings in a row here. We've got tennis ball and a racquetball. All right. We are meaning business. All right. Come with me now as we take a little walk to the lower property and do a little talking, shall we? I keep saying I've got to get guests, and I do, because otherwise you guys are just listening to me, just listening to my voice, not even not talking to a not coworker, co-host. I am not talking to anybody but myself and my dogs. So I'm sure that gets pretty lame after a while, right? Gotta really get to speed here and have some, we're missing, goodness gracious, we're missing a Henry and a Charlie. Anyway, I got to get to speed and get some partners besides my pooches, my entourage. I have an entourage of pets, but I need some peeps, not pets. I need peeps. Oh my goodness. Henry and Charlie, how do you call a deaf dog? It's not a joke. How do you? I guess you don't let them wander out of your sight because they're deaf and you got to keep. I wonder if there's a collar out there that kind of makes a little, I mean, of course they have like the vibrating collars and stuff, but something that helps you with your deaf dog. I guess what helps with that is not letting them out of your sight, not letting them wander off, right? That's probably the best thing you can do. Not let them out without a leash. To be a responsible dog owner, I suppose that is the best thing you can do when you have a deaf dog, right? Goodness. And walking back up the hill. I think he's just trying to tell me that I need exercise. I think he's secretly trying to get me to do exercise today. Charlie, let's go. My friend, let's go. Come on, Charlie. Henry, let's go. All right. I think Charlie is a little sore. Come on, Nora. I have a bunch of senior citizens and then a young one. It's like the Democratic administration right now, a bunch of senior citizens. My pooches are like a bunch of old folks. Got some senior citizens and then one puppy. Well, I suppose Mo is not a senior citizen. Anyways, I'm sitting here spending this entire time talking about my dogs. If anybody is still listening, why? Why are you listening? I'm so boring. I'm not even talking about anything right now. Oh my gosh. I just honestly sat here and spent 5 minutes and 30 seconds talking about my dogs, rounding up my dogs. I'm sure that you can hear me panting. You can hear how out of shape I am. So you guys are hearing my dogs panting, me panting. It's starting to sound like a porn instead of a podcast. My God, I swear you did not tune into a porn. I am just out of breath because I'm apparently more out of shape than I thought. And my dog Puck is currently panting because I took him out before I started this podcast and he's a little tired from that. So at any rate, oh gosh, come on, old lady, let's go. Bon bon, bonaroo. All right, we are sans Henry. I need to find him. Oh, I wish you guys could have seen that jump. Okay, I swear I'm not spending this entire podcast talking about my animals, but I do want to talk about animals and what's been keeping me up, and that is service dogs. Yay or nay? What is a service dog? Do we agree with service dogs? And what is the difference between service dogs and emotional support animals? So when I say, do we agree with service dogs? I meant to say, do we agree with emotional support animals? When I say agree with them, I mean, yes, of course, there's a need for dogs as emotional support animals. What I mean by do we agree with them or not? I mean, should they be allowed to go into grocery stores, into restaurants? Or I understand service dogs, but I don't think people understand the difference between service dogs and emotional support animals. Emotional support animals are there when you have some anxiety, when you have some depression, when you have something emotionally, when you have some PTSD, something that stresses you out, and this dog helps you feel comforted. That dog or pet, whatever it is, it could be a cat, a dog, a pig, a bird, a snake, whatever. That animal makes you feel healthier, or makes you feel happier, or makes you feel like you can handle life a little better, or whatever. They cheer you up. But a service animal is a dog that since birth, since the moment they're born, they get training on how to help people that have seizures, or that have diabetes, or that are blind, or deaf, or paraplegic, or quadriplegic. They're they're animals that genuinely went through rigid training by professionals to help serve particular needs, like I said, like being blind or deaf or a quadriplegic or having seizures, whatever. And these dogs are trained to detect when a seizure is coming on, or when a seizure comes on, to keep them, calm and still, or whatever, and to help know when your sugar is high, or to help you cross a street or navigate grocery stores because you're blind, or what have you. Those are different, and of course should be allowed in restaurants and grocery stores and things like that. Oh gosh, you guys are going to think I'm the worst animal owner, but Bonnie has a tendency to wander and we need to find her. So there she is. All right. Okay. All dogs accounted for. Thank you. No longer a bad person, right? No, just kidding. Or a bad dog owner, but I guess I shouldn't have lost sight of her in the first place. At any rate, service animals are different than emotional support animals. I'm not against emotional support animals. I have all of my animals, my cats and dogs, and I love horses and all animals because they emotionally keep me grounded and keep me saner than I would be without them. I'm not claiming to be sane. Let's just get that straight. No, I'm not claiming that I am a sane person. I'm just saying that they help me be saner than I would be if they were not in my life. I do not believe that you should have emotional support animals in grocery stores and restaurants and clothing stores because you can live without them. They don't need to be in a restaurant. They don't need to be in a grocery store. That is not necessary. And I know people are using that to get away with having animals in apartments, which totally understand. I feel like apartments can just make a deposit and you can, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. You can't just throw money at a problem and take the time and energy to fix stuff. And some stuff may do a lot of damage that you can't fix. And I get why, and some people are allergic to hair and getting fleas out and all of that is an issue. So I get why a lot of apartment complexes and stuff don't allow pets. And I also, though, get why people use emotional support animals as ways to be able to get their pet in because you don't want to live without your pet. You don't want to give your pet up. You don't want to take your pet to a humane society or rehome it because you're moving and now suddenly you can't have your pet. So I see both sides, and that's a tricky road to navigate. I can see landlords' side of the coin, and I can see people that have pets. I can see their side of the coin. So I just wanted to know how you guys feel about that. Emotional support animals, should they be allowed in grocery stores and restaurants and clothing stores? And yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with having an emotional support animal at all? Should it be called that, or should it just be called a pet? Because that's what a pet is. The whole reason we get a pet is because they make us feel good and they make us be able to enjoy life a little more, So aren't all pets emotional support animals? But, oh goodness, there's Bonnie. All right. Mo, bring the ball. Come on, Momo. Goodness, I have to at this point carry a ball for each one of my animals because otherwise one takes off with it. Ay, ay, ay. And now Nora is protesting because she did not get the ball. So, goodness gracious. I love, and on that note, pecking order. Where do we stand with a pecking order? Should there be hierarchy? Should there be a patriarch? Like, is your mom or dad the matriarch and patriarch of the family? Is there respect given? Or do you just kind of treat your parents like crap? Do you believe in a person that's older than you, showing people respect in general. But I mean, do you believe in a hierarchy? Do you believe if you get a job, if someone that's been there and put in the time and energy and the dedication, years before you should get the promotion over you? Does it depend on maybe you've only worked there for a year and the other person's been there for 6, but maybe you're more qualified. Maybe the other person's more qualified because they've been there longer and they know the job, but maybe you're more book smart qualified. Maybe you have the diploma that says you're qualified, but you haven't been with that company and you don't know the people that work there and you don't know how the company is ran and you haven't put in the manpower. Who deserves that promotion? The person with the paper degree or the person that's put in the time and energy? Do they both deserve it? Does it have to be pick one or the other? Can you give it to both? Or do they both deserve it? And unfortunately, one person is the winner and one person's the loser, What are your thoughts though on hierarchy, on time served? My aunt was a paralegal for 30 plus years with one person. And she was making, great money and stuff. And then a new person came along after 30 years and my aunt lost her job because this new young person came in. And it wasn't because my aunt was suddenly slacking. She didn't suddenly start, typing things incorrectly because of course this is still the days of typewriters, keyboards, She didn't start doing her job poorly. Maybe she slowed down a little bit, but so did the person that was the lawyer. They slowed down also. But, she was fired, and then nobody wanted to hire her because she got older, and it just kind of stinks. But again, I can kind of see both sides. I get why people want that documentation and they want that person that's newer. Maybe they have a newer way of doing it that would work, and you have to keep up with the times. You have to keep up with the year. You have to keep up with the younger people. Otherwise, if you fall behind. Then again, they say no, keep up with the people that have been with you. Keep up with tradition, what you've been doing. If it's not broken, don't fix it. There's just so many sides of the coin. And you look at dogs, and it just is funny because I look at my cats, I look at my dogs, I look at animals and how they treat their elderly. How certain animals have no respect for the elderly. They just try to immediately dominate and take over. How other animals appreciate the elderly, and they're there until the day they die. And I look at my dogs and I see how each dog kind of reacts to the cats differently, reacts to each other differently. And we have some cats that appreciate my oldest cat and doesn't even try to mess with them at all, and allows my older cat to go after them, and they don't even try to fight back at all because they appreciate the fact that he's older. They give him that respect. They show the respect. They're like, all right, you do whatever you want to me. You are training me. You are teaching me. You are telling me to stop. I'm going to listen to you. Then I have another cat that's like, fuck off, old man. There's a new sheriff in town. I'm young and I'm taking over, and I will fight you because you're getting old and I want to be next in line to the throne. And my dogs do that. Some of my dogs respect each other's, the fact that they're older, and others not so much. So it's just interesting. It's interesting how people do that. It's interesting to see the generation, and holy God, I'm losing Bonnie again, for the love of Pete. I'm the worst. All right. We need to find the Bonbon. Bonbon. Oh, there she is. Oh, like a good girl. You just blend in. She blends in with my dead grass. My grass is dead. And she blends right in. She's camo. I didn't see her. Good girl, Bonnie. Good girl. She blends in. She's camo dog. So, I noticed that culturally it's a thing too. Different cultures have different ways of viewing their peers, the elderly. Different cultures, some revere the elderly and others have no respect. It's interesting. It's fascinating the way we treat each other and what plays a role in how we treat other humans. It's interesting how men treat women, how women treat men. It's interesting how different races treat each other. It's interesting how different political parties treat each other, how different countries treat each other. It's interesting the way we view religion in different countries, and how some are so staunch, Christian, that they will do anything to stand by their beliefs, and others are atheists and agnostic. It is interesting how far people will go to promote their beliefs, to hold true to their beliefs. And it's interesting to see, it's equally interesting to see how fast people will give up their morals and ethics, how quickly they will sell out. Or is it selling out? Is it just them saying, hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't have it correct. Maybe you actually have it correct. That's what's fascinating. It's like there's really not a black or a white to anything. It really genuinely is all about balance, moderation, perspective, angles. Not any one person is correct. That's what's amazing. It's amazing that we all have a piece to the puzzle. Every single one of us has something to offer. Every one of us has something that we take away. Every one of us has something we contribute, and every one of us has something that we fuck up and make worse. Not one religion, I feel like, has it right. Not one race or country has it right. And it's interesting to see respect in animals. At least they are so much more blunt about it, because some of us are shady motherfuckers. Some of us are Eddie Haskells, wolves in sheep's clothing. We act like we're so much better than we are. And then behind closed doors, we say and do things that we would never do. At least animals are just so in your face about it. They don't tell lies. They don't have secrets. They're just blunt in their behaviors. They don't get offended. They either get pissed, they leave each other alone. Like, things are just this way or that way, and it's amazing. I appreciate bluntness. I appreciate those that just have the nerve, the balls, and the respect to be who they are, whether you are a douche, whether you're evil, or whether you're a great person. At least if you are evil, of course, that's not cool. Probably should work on it, but at least you are doing it where everybody can see it and you're not hiding it. If you are an evil person and you're being evil in front of everybody, not behind closed doors and posing as good like politicians, acting, there's nothing worse than preying on people and trying to fuck with people mentally and using them as lab rats. There's nothing worse than that. And so I always have said I love cantankerous, blunt, elderly people, because at least you know where they stand. And plus, let's face it, they've seen a lot. If you were like 75 or older, you've been through some shit, you've seen a lot, and you deserve to feel how you want to feel and be cranky if you want to, because Lord knows you have put in so much time and energy only for people nowadays to be ungrateful and fuck it all up. So if you want to be pissed off and cranky, I say, I don't blame you. And at least you're doing it outwardly and not hiding it. At least you're not pretending, So hats off and cheers to the blunt people of the world, to the people that don't hide who they are, to those that tell it like it is. But also hats off to those of you that show respect, that have integrity. Integrity seems hard to come by. Ethics, morals, I don't know. Have we lost those? I think we have. We lost those and our minds. We've lost hope. We've lost respect. We've lost honor. We've lost loyalty. We've lost pride. But we've gained weight. Oh, we've gained a lot of weight. We've gained a lot of debt. We've gained hate. We've gained distrust. We haven't gained any knowledge. We've lost power. We're losing soil. We're building on our soil. Our soil's burning down. We need to be worried about soil. Where the hell are we going to get our nutrients from if we're polluting everything? If we keep retilling and retilling and tilling and tilling, it takes now like freaking 8 apples to get the nutrients that 1 apple used to give us. It takes like a bunch of broccoli, a bunch of vegetables, a bunch of fruits to take what, a fraction of that used to get our nutrients. We should be worried about the soil. We're losing soil. But boy, we're gaining a bunch of skyscrapers. We're gaining people because no one seems to believe in freaking birth control anymore. Do we really need more people? I do not agree with Elon Musk. Do not agree that we are somehow losing people, that somehow, we need to repopulate. No, we don't. We don't have enough housing as it is for people or animals. We don't have enough land. We don't need to be Mosby. Come. Good come, good boy. Yes. Good come, good boy, Mo. Yes. Sorry about that. We don't have enough room for people as it is, and we don't need to make room. We need to be protecting our land. We need to be protecting our soil. We need to be protecting our trees. We don't need to be losing trees. We don't need to lose soil. We don't need to be losing our minds. We're losing our minds. We are losing money, but we're gaining pollution. It's a sad state of affairs we are in. A sad state of affairs. We've gotten ourselves into a bit of a pickle, you know? Holy Lord, where's the Henry? He's a little one. I feel like that episode on The Proposal where Kevin, you know, where she's like talking on her phone out at the place in Alaska and a big old eagle comes down. It's not funny. I'm not saying that'd be good if that happened, but now I can't find the little chihuahua. And we have these turkey vultures and falcons and hawks around here. So, not falcons, hawks. Henry Thomas. All of my animals have middle names. Henry, come on, Henry. Let's all call for him. That's what you guys want to be listening to, me calling for my dog. But anyway, out of losing hope, losing our minds, losing money, losing faith, losing soil, losing fields, losing forests, losing education, losing pride. What are we gaining? There's Henry. What are we gaining? What are we gaining right now? We really need to start looking at that. What does this administration, what is it doing for us? What are we gaining by having this administration in power? What are we gaining by having these politicians in power? Mosby, leave it. Good, leave it. Yes. Good, leave it. Good boy. Yes. What are we gaining by having the people that are in charge right now at the helm? You know, if we are going to patent devices that can take over Mosby, that can take over fossil fuels, that can take over, drilling for oil, that can take over coal, that can take over nuclear, and instead we can use water, or we can use all these methods that people have been coming up with and taking to patent offices. And then those patent offices are corrupt from people from big conglomerates, from oil companies, from power companies and stuff that don't want us to be using cleaner, better fuel, because then they would go out of business. So if you come up with something, all those people have been assassinated and their patents destroyed. So then more people come up with another cleaner, better way, more efficient way to use energy, cleaner way to use energy. We've had so many alternative ways of using energy, and they keep getting shut down and destroyed by the patent offices, by our government, by these big mafia people, these big mafia companies. And we need to start just getting that, like Dr. Greer says on this documentary that I should have looked up. Well, I tried looking it up and I can't even find it. So we need to just get it out there and not worry about who gets the credit and who makes the money, because unfortunately, if you keep it all to yourself and you try to make the money and you try to get the patent, it goes nowhere and you are probably going to end up dead. They will probably assassinate you. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's been happening over and over and over again. These big mafia companies have been assassinating people that come up with better forms of energy, because then they're going to lose money. That is how bad our government has become. That's how bad our government has always been. This isn't a new thing. They've always been this way. So, like Greer's been saying, you need to, if you come up with an alternative method, don't try to get it patent. Unfortunately, don't try to get the credit and the money. Unfortunately, it needs to go worldwide, all over the the World Wide Web. It needs to spread like wildfire. We all need to get our hands on it so we can all get copies of it and we can all get it out there to the public as fast and quick and all over, so that it embeds in the internet, so that it is embedded and we can get it out there before the government can take over. I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I sound like Mel Gibson. I sound like a crazy person. But all these conspiracy theories so far has turned out, well, not all of them, but most of them have turned out not to be conspiracy theories at all. They've turned out to be true. And this government has gotten so freaking corrupt right now. I mean, pretty much everything that I hear, it seems I'm like, okay, it's probably true. Even the most outlandish thing, then in the back of my head, I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, well, but who knows? Anything could be true right now. Again, dogs panting in the background. It's just interesting, each culture, how they handle hardship, how they handle their government. It's interesting how each culture treats their elderly, how each culture treats animals. I mean, we all know America spoils their animals. We treat our animals, well, I started to say we treat our animals better than humans, but that's not true. I mean, we probably treat them better than most, but I was just watching my dogs and watching my cats and how they treat each other, and it's just fascinating to me how I've been obsessed with watching the Yellow Jackets lately and how they treat each other and just how life, how there's that hierarchy and how do we fit in? How do we treat our elderly? How do we treat each other? How do we treat our animals, our children? Do we hold our children accountable? Do we have standards for them? Anyway, those are some things that have been keeping me up, some things weighing on my mind. Also, I can't seem to, my Facebook page, my Twitter account has all been somehow removed. That's a little suspicious. That's a little weird. So I'm in the process of trying to get my Twitter and my Facebook and my Instagram. My Instagram page is still there, but it will not allow me to post anything. So that's been interesting. Can't post anything to my Instagram, and my Twitter and Facebook accounts are just magically gone, which is interesting. So I'm trying to work on that. But shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody that tunes in. Shout out to those of you who are positive and find the good in life. We need people like you. Shout out to the solution makers, those that come up with solutions. Shout out to those of you that are problem solvers. Shout out to those of you that get up and go to work every day. Shout out to those of you that parent every day, that are good siblings, are good children. Hey, Mosby, leave it. Good, leave it, good boy. My dog keeps trying to stalk the horses. That's my neighbor's horses. Anyway, shout out to those of you that are trying and putting one foot in front of the other. Thank you for listening to the ramblings of an insomniac. I am Courtney Perry. Until next time, insomniacs.